Hi, I'm Emerald. I'm here at EMIS to interview Sue, James and Rebecca about their jobs.
My name's Sue. I head up the recruitment team within EMIS. EMIS are the market leader in clinical software. We develop the clinical software and supply it to the healthcare sector. For example, the software is used to store clinical records of patients.
What are you looking for in the young people that you recruit?
Well, we look for different things. It depends on the department that they're working in, but mainly we'd look for enthusiasm, keenness and a willingness to learn.
How does a young person find out about what vacancies you have?
Every time we advertise a vacancy, we would send that round internally and open it up to existing employees to recommend a family member or a friend. We also advertise majority of our vacancies through Job Centre Plus. We also advertise on our own careers website and through various job boards.
Can you tell us about some good things that you've seen on an application form?
When candidates actually pay attention to detail, when they actually look at the job description of the role that they're applying for and they fill out the additional information section at the back of the application, and that gives them an opportunity to sell their existing skills and experience against the role.
And what's not so good things?
But again, attention to detail when candidates just simply don't check their application that they've put through, that there's spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, when they write down things like refer to CV, it just shows that they haven't been bothered about applying.
What questions do you ask at an interview?
Again, questions vary depending on the role that we're applying for, but we would always ask quite standard questions to see whether they've done the research. So we'd ask them what they know about the company and what they actually know about the job that they're applying for. So it shows us that they're actually bothered about the job.
What is your application process?
All the CVs would come through to myself and my two colleagues in the first instance. We would filter those CVs, send suitable CVs on to the hiring managers. They would then select who they want to invite for interview. Sometimes there might be a technical evaluation. It depends on whether they're applying for a role in development or in our hosted services. If they're applying for a role in a position in our contact centre, we would do a telephone interview and then we would score them on that and then invite them face-to-face interview.
What advice do you give to young people looking for work?
Keep a list of the companies that you've applied for and the jobs that you've applied for. Often we might call a candidate up and say, oh, you've applied for a position to do this, we'd like to invite you for an interview, and they'll say, oh, what position's that? Can you tell me a bit more about it? Secondly, I would say do your research the company, know about the job that you're applying for. Remember, you're not the only person that's applying for the job, so really sell yourself in a cover letter and on the application form and put 100% effort in.
Hi James, what job do you do at EMIS?
I currently work as a developer.
What does your job involve?
We speak to a person called a business analyst who works out what the customer wants, and my job is to work out how to implement it in the software and then do it.
What qualifications and skills do you need?
It's more about the experience and your existing skills in the technologies that you use. So I've been developing using C# and the .NET framework for maybe 3-4 years now. But I've been learning how to program since I was about 13. You also have to be able to understand the existing C# code, and you also have to be good at analysing problems, and you have to enjoy it. For product improvement, probably the reason I got that job was the fact that I worked before then in kind of an apprenticeship at another software development company. I used to create websites for people, do designs, speak to the customers, code it all. I used to develop in kind of PHP, HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. But I was doing that while I was about 17 at college, just for some extra money really. The thing I liked doing the most was writing software to play games for me.
What kind of games did you make?
I used to make robots to play like Scrabble, Connect 4. I made a robot to play Call of Duty. I managed to get up to first in the world rankings for about 500,000 people.
What are the good things about your job?
You get quite a lot of scope to implement something. So you don't really get to decide what you're going to make, but the way you solve a problem or the way you make a solution to it, it's almost entirely up to you. So you can be really creative about it.
And what's the not so good things?
There could be times where there's bottlenecks in the process of getting the requirements from the customer and deciding what we should make.
What would you see yourself doing in the future?
I'm not sure really. Probably just more software development related stuff, technical stuff mainly though. I really enjoy it.
What's a typical day like for you?
It's quite a small team. It starts off with we'll speak in the morning about what issues we might be having, what stuff we've done, what work we might be planning on doing, and then if I know what to do, I'll spend the rest of the day just implementing it.
Hello Rebecca, what job do you do at EMIS?
I work in hosted operations in EMIS.
What's a typical day like for you?
So my typical day would be just monitoring the system. If anything comes up on the system, we'd talk to the relevant department to fix that. Again, kind of the daily checks to check that everything's up and running. And then we've got kind of data centre checks, which basically checks all the servers that they're okay.
How did you find out about this job?
I found out basically about the job internally. So I worked for EMIS for 2 years now. So originally I applied for a support role and just gradually progressed through EMIS really.
How has your job changed over the past 2 years?
It's kind of been more, at the start it was customer focused, like front end stuff, whereas now it's kind of like the back end side of things. So before I was kind of supporting customers on the phone, whereas now I'm kind of doing the back end stuff, kind of monitoring the systems.
What qualifications and skills do you need?
Qualifications, kind of IT exams, and skills. You need to be able to communicate and just be organised and just be motivated really.
What are the good things about your job?
The good things are that it's quite a relaxed environment, so it's quite chatty and kind of motivates you to do your work, and you're always getting kind of progression, so you always know kind of the next step in your career.
And what's the not so good things?
Everything's good.
What do you see yourself doing in the future?
In the future I'd like to go to management because EMIS have a lot of progression, so I think I'd like to work up to management role within EMIS.
Could you tell us what opportunities come up within the company?
It's not just about developing software, we have opportunities within various departments such as marketing, quality assurance, accounts and finance, human resources.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.